Yeah,
The stream
we
is
are live.
going.
Okay. Thank you, Shilajit. So, once again for joining us. I think this is the third time that we are meeting on this platform. And I
Yeah.
think, as has been our norm, usually that we tend to have a discussion prior to any large scale trophy tournament for Indian cricket team. I think the last time we spoke was before and during the T20 World Cup,
Oh
and
yes.
since then it's BGT time. It's Border Gavaskar Trophy time. So how are you doing?
I am doing all right. A bit skeptical, a bit excited about an iconic series down in Australia. So it is always uh, a highlight of our 4 year calendar, right? So we always wait for India's trip to Australia. So yeah, so excited this time, but of course a bit skeptical as well.
Very true. And the lead up has been such that I think I told that we spoke last time during the World Cup. So I think the euphoria was such in between those 3 4 months after the World Cup, and it has all of a sudden come rocketing down, right? The last test series that has happened. So so yes, turbulent times for an Indian cricketing fan. I think we did not expect this thing to go the way it is nosedived a little bit, but nonetheless Australia tour is always exciting. As a fan, the experience is unbelievable, and from that perspective also it's time to look forward to. So yeah, absolutely true. So, speaking of which, Shilajit, let me just straight away dive into the
Yeah.
topic. And I mentioned that experience, the fan experience of watching the Australia tour. And I have been hearing little things about you and the Australia tour. So, is the little body correct? What's the rumor going around?
Yes, so I think I would like to just start by sharing that I'll be traveling to Australia in December and I will be at MCG on Boxing Day. But
Wow.
this plan, yeah, but this plan has been in making for years. I think from our childhood, I think an Australian trip is iconic. And the Boxing Day at the MCG has always been a match where you, I, and lakhs of other Indians have gotten up and seen the match. But this time, as we have talked, I think privately, this time the match will start for me at 10:30, and I will be at the G.
Perfect. This is unbelievable, Shilajit. So let me just do one thing, and I was just figuring out how to do it because this
Aha.
is probably the highlight of what we are talking and how we talk and the load up. So I have just learned a feature called adding a banner. I am going
Oh
to add
wow!
a banner in this video stream stating that Shilajit to be on MCG on Boxing Day for the
Oh my
fourth test. I hope you
God!
are okay with that.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I am, and yes, thank you so much for doing that. It is a dream come true uh, for all cricket fans, I think, but especially for me. So yeah, so very happy, and I have planned this, I think, step by step. And as you know, the tickets were booked in June before even knowing that I'll be going down there. Okay, so very happy and looking forward to it. But as an Indian cricket fan, I think we have to, yeah, we have to take it a step at a time, right? Oh wow.
Absolutely. How does that look?
Oh, that looks awesome. Yeah, so means it looks it looks even better when I see it written down, right? And not talking about it personally. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, no. I mean, so all I can say is, and I have been uh, part of the discussion, some of the discussions that we have had. So I know how excited, how tense, how intriguing the build up was to all this happening. And finally, I think we are very close. Today's 10th. I think next month. So almost just above 1 month. But I think this is dream come true for every Indian cricketing fan,
It
right?
is, it is.
To be
Mhm.
and I if I'm not wrong, this would be your first overseas test experience.
Oh,
And
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. And so from that perspective, to be on Melbourne, MCG, day one, Boxing Day. It
Yes.
really can't get any better, right? So
Oh, definitely.
absolutely unbelievable and dream come true moment. So I'm sure, I mean, knowing
Indeed,
you, you
indeed.
have been preparing, thinking, planning, plotting for this day, maybe from
Yes.
decades. I don't know,
Yes.
but but
Well,
yeah, I mean,
yes, it might as
fantastic.
well be for decades, right? And over the last two series, I think the Boxing Day test, the Melbourne test has been iconic. Okay, and from our childhood, I think even if it is not India, any Australian test on Boxing Day is iconic. But especially for us Indian fans, hoping the Indian openers tried out on Boxing Day, right? So, it is
I am
something.
coming to this. I am coming to this. So my next question to you, Shilajit, would be that okay, we know that Boxing Day test is the fourth test in this series, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
considering all the optimism and pessimism in the air and how we are loading up to this test series, everything taken into account, my question to you would be: what is your dream scenario for 26 December? Uh, Morning, Melbourne. What would you like the series to be in? What is your expectation? What would be the happiest if that happens?
For me, I think the best scenario would be a scoreline of 2-1. I would be hoping
Ah, I
it is
agree.
in
Yeah.
favor of India. I would be hoping that India is 2-1 up, but then considering the welcome which Australia is giving the Indian team this time, starting with Perth, then day night test, then at the Gabba, we have to be walking on eggshells. But hopefully, the series stays alive. So at the moment, I think the recent test series of India, the way we have seen, we have to kind of hope that the series stays alive. But since you have asked me for my for my dream situation, I hope the series is 2-1, right, in
So
favor
the
of anyone.
series. Sorry, what was the last part?
In favor of anyone. Means I
Oh,
started by saying
you're
that I
oh,
hope it's in favor
okay.
of
You are.
India.
Huh. But okay, you are okay. You are okay with it being in favor of Australia as well, right? But as long as the series is 2-1. But from a dream perspective, probably India 2-1 up and India batting. Would that be the uh, absolute
Yes,
dream?
it would be so. From from years, I think we have seen Sachin Tendulkar batting and Sehwag scoring 195 on Boxing Day, and then from there on, Mayank Agarwal making his debut on Boxing Day. So, being a traditional Indian fan, I would like to see India batting. But over the years, I think it is exciting to watch Indian bowling as Indian batting. But I think I'm going to go with India batting first on Boxing Day. I would get my dream, and it would be advantage India also, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is. I think the perfect scenario, and I am imagining it as much as you are probably. But my
Yeah.
what I am thinking is probably it could not get any better on a bright sunny morning. Jaiswal and Rohit Sharma walking out,
Yes.
followed by
Yes.
Gill and Virat Kohli. I think that would be my wish list. I do not want anything more.
Ah,
Maybe you would want a dash of Rishabh Pant, but
ah.
I do not know. I mean, I'll be happy till Kohli.
Yes, so if India bat first and uh, uh, we have a full 90 overs of play,
Mhm.
and I see only Kohli batting, I'll be very happy. In fact, while you were saying, I got it in my mind that if I see Kohli batting at end of day one, but
Mhm.
India are batting second, I won't mind that as well.
Okay, okay, interesting,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, true. But that is that. I mean, that would be one theory. I mean, it would be unbelievable to go through Indian bowling, Jasprit Bumrah, 2 sessions
Ah,
of Indian bowling. Okay, so
yes,
you have probably taken it one notch higher, and
yes.
you have
And
imagined.
in fact, in the last Boxing Day test, I think we got Australia out for 195 or something, and we were betting at the end of day one, right? So I absolutely won't mind that.
Fingers crossed. Let's hope
Absolutely,
for the
man. Yes,
best. But
absolutely,
but
absolutely.
other than that, I think this is unbelievable, Chilajit. So this is what like I said. I mean, it's every Indian fan's dream probably, and from that perspective, to be planning the entire thing. I know it's not easy, but from that perspective, planning the entire thing and being able to execute it, I think it would be it's unbelievable, and I wish you
Yes,
all the best for this
thank you.
entire journey. And from what I'm given to understand, that you would be there in the country for some time over
Yeah.
there, so probably a week or so. So I wish you a fantastic trip, and I just hope that all the dreams come true at Melbourne. So
Oh yeah.
uh, let's hope for the best. Speaking of that, so let's get down. I mean, that's we spoke about what we would want on that day four, sorry, test fourth test, day one, but we have three tests to deal with prior to that. And I I do not know. I mean, so right now, what is it that you are feeling? So let's start off with the home series probably that happened with New Zealand, and what do you think went wrong, Shilajit? And then, if there are any takeaways from that series that we can probably use in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, right? So, what went wrong, and probably what should we do better in Australia? What do you
Yeah.
think?
It is very tough to take something from a home test series whitewash in starkly different conditions than what we are going to face in Australia. But at the moment, I think the only thing which we have to keep in our mind is to back our boys. Okay, our team is in a strange sort of transition uh, where a handful of seniors are on the last lap of their careers, and we have a few youngsters who might be making their first trip to Australia. So people like Jaiswal and maybe Nitish Kumar Reddy, Harshit Rana, they are making their first trip. Them even Sarfaraz, and then we have a few players who have fond memories of Australia. We have Gill, we have Pant, we have Rahul who scored his first Test century in Australia. But the team is in such a state of transition that we feel that this WTC cycle might be an end of an era, and we start afresh from the next one. So I think what we just have to remember as supporters and as the team is to know that we have been extremely successful down under over this century. Okay, starting from Saurav Ganguly's team to Virat Kohli's and Ajinkya Rahane's team. So all we have to do is just concentrate on our skills, and I think our main squad is going there early. We have sent a couple or a handful of people down there already to play the A matches. So I think we have to just keep the noise out of our mind and to be just okay, quietly confident that we have the quality, and Australia are themselves floundering at the moment. So they are going to have a debutant opener. Their middle order is shaky. They have lost Cameron Green, and they are in fact thinking of playing Scott Boland instead of one of Stark or Hazelwood. So they are shaky. So as long as we stay stable, I know that we will be able to challenge and beat them there. But if the unrest starts in our team and we are not
Mhm.
sure, and Rohit is getting out on the hook shock and Kohli is getting out on the cover drive, the things will start. And I really have big hopes from Shubman Gill this time. So hopefully things stay
Big
good.
series, isn't it? I mean, he's going in there for the second time, has the experience, and he's just hitting the sweet spot probably at the moment, in the sense that he has had the experience, has been regular in the Indian team for the last 2 3 years, and it's now time for him to show the potential that he has. I mean, he has shown glimpses, but I think we would want it to be at a much more consistent fashion than what he has shown so far, right? But
Mhm.
instead of, I mean, not singling out Shubman Gill, from the Indian, the overall team perspective, uh, you think that this series loss against New Zealand, and this unprecedented series loss, right? It's not just any other series lost. So will this be a blessing in disguise before the Australian tour? Do you think that it works that way?
it it can work. So we know that things tend to unravel very quickly down in Australia. Yeah, we have seen England doing it series after series, year after year, but then teams like South Africa have brought on yeah, so young squads and they have won there. Okay, and they did very well in 2008 with a strong squad, in 2012 with an aging squad, and in 2016 with a young squad. So yeah, we have the example, and there is no bigger example than winning with a young inexperienced squad than our Gaba win last time, right? So
In
we
fact,
know
that
we have
entire series, probably,
yeah,
right? We kept
yeah,
losing players
entirely.
test
Yeah.
after test.
Yes, so I don't think we played the same nine players. Miss, even nine players. Okay, miss, I'm not even going to 11. I don't think we played even same nine players uh, in consecutive tests, right? So
No, yeah.
um, yes, and so since you asked about our learning from New Zealand, I think the New Zealand series, and the name of Shuman Gill was brought up by me. Shuman Gill played a very mature innings in the third test. Okay, so that is
Correct.
something which is going to help him, knowing that he was able to stand out
Yeah.
in our batting order, right? So
And
that
that
is
would probably give
hopefully something good.
confidence.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Australia can be a scare. It can be a scary, dark place as well. But it is India who has been able to make it a
Absolutely.
bright place over the last two series. So yeah, we have to hold on and have high
And
hopes.
yeah, and I do not know. I mean, so I'm not sure whether Australia has ever lost two back-to-back home series against any opposition in their entire cricketing history. Might as well be that uh, they might not have lost. But anyway, we will probably come to that at some point later.
Mhm.
Very quick anecdote to probably end this entire New Zealand series and this discussion about that. So I was just reading something very interesting, but that was shared by Mohandas Menon, right? You know, the
Okay.
statistician who,
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
he has written that every time that there's a World Cup win for India, there's something such a debacle happens. So in 1983, after that win, I think West Indies came over and India lost a 3-0 Test series. But it
Yes.
was not a three-match Test series; it was a six-match series.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
six-match series, which West Indies won 3-0.
Mhm.
Then just around that 2007 T20 World Cup win is the 2007 ODI World Cup group stage, right?
ODI
So
World
this
Cup
is
debut. Yeah.
preceding the win.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then after 2011 World Cup, I think we went and lost 4-0, 4-0 to Australia and
England and
England. So
Australia.
that happened. And then this now that we won a T20 World Cup, I think absolute bolt from the blue that New Zealand came and destroyed us at home at 3-0. But let's just hope that that's the end to it. And the Australia series is a fresh start,
Mhm.
right? So we have had the bad luck. So I am taking it in a good way that at least now this time we will, unlike the 2011, we will not go to Australia and lose 4-0 or 5-0 or whatever. So I am
Yeah,
taking it
so
in
we
the,
can do it. Yeah, we can do it like the 2007 World Cup, hopefully, and
yeah,
we might have won that Test series had DRS been in place. Okay, so this time we have,
absolutely.
yeah, so this
So
time we have DRS. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's unbelievable. I mean, I keep, so because BGT is around the corner, probably Facebook has its ways of finding out what we are thinking, probably as well. So I keep seeing those videos, and Steve Buckner's umpiring in those matches, I couldn't believe it. I mean, some of the Simons nicking it, and then everybody shouting, but unperturbed Steve Buckner. Yeah, very true. Very well pointed out that the
Yeah.
results could have been very different in those probably two of those series. I think the one led by Kumble and the one led by Ganguly, where lot of 50-50 decisions have gone the other way and things did not
Mm,
work
yeah.
out as that. Anyway, so that's there. So good segue into the next part. I think we talk about Ganguly, we spoke about Kumble. So anything that you hear about Rohit Sharma? Is he flying? Not flying? First test, second test? What's the deal there? What's going on? And not only that. I mean, my real question to you would be, what do you think Rohit's presence or absence does to this Indian team? Right? How significant is it? I mean, if Rohit Sharma happens not to play in the first test match, then what do you think that does to our chances as a team?
So the first thing it does is it makes the 11 bit tumultuous, right? So we don't know who is going to open. Okay, I have heard, means I have heard kind of actually, okay, so whispers saying that maybe Shubman Gill can be pushed to open because he has opened in Australia in the past.
Earlier,
But then
yeah,
who plays at number three? Or else we hear that means our backup opener yeah, can open. But the main thing which a team would miss from its captain is the captain has been leading the team at least in this WTC cycle in his entirety. Okay, so the continuity in plan and in the implementation of tactics, okay, the choosing of the 11, the setting up of the squad, I think the captain leads and influences it all. So we know that when we went at the end of, okay, 2014, there Dhoni did not travel for the first test, and we saw the first glimpse of Kohli the captain. Okay, but
right,
unfortunately this time we don't have a groomed vice captain as well. Over the last few series, it has been Bumrah, it has been Gill sometimes, and it has been Pandya, Surya Kumar, everyone across formats. So we don't even know that, and we are not even sure who's going to be the captain. It is going to be most probably the vice captain, which is which is Bumrah. And if Bumrah becomes the captain, then how does it affect our bowling? He is our main weapon in our bowling in Australia. So I think what I've been hearing, I hope that stays true, is that Rohit might travel with the squad and might come back to India as and when the things develop in his private life. In addition to that, I'm hoping more quietly that the things actually pan after the first test so that he's able to play, and then we have a 10-11 day gap, I think, till the starting of the second test, and it would be a good opportunity for him to then miss the practice match. And here Cricket Australia have been actually very smart. They have scheduled the practice match after the first test. Okay, so it is almost like India is practicing for the practice match by playing the first test. Okay, so they have been very smart, and we have to be very cautious. And I think Rohit agrees that too. Had we blanked New Zealand 3-0, right? So then the things would have, yeah, they would have been different. But then our head coach would have been confident. Our entire squad would have been confident of at least seeing out one test match. Okay, without their captain. And as our luck always has it, uh, that it is our captain who would need to miss a test or two of a series, and it is not any other player, right? So that is the thing, but I hope that he makes it with the team. Okay, so let us keep the first test out of our sight at the moment. We hope that he spends 8 to 10 days with the team in Australia. Okay, sets up the squad, okay, strategizes for the first test, and then let us hope he gets to play the first test as
absolutely. So, and I'll probably just add 2 cents what I feel about this entire thing, right? So, I have grown up reading of the fact that Australians always try to attack the captain first. Okay, so
well.
this was the
Absolutely, we have
go-to
seen that.
thing that they do, that they, and this is something that happened during the Ganguly era and the 2003 or 2002 series, right? That's the 2002 one,
It is the
or one was it?
2003-4.
Okay, 3-4, yes. So from
After
that
our World
series,
Cup final, I think we went
after
there.
a World Cup final. I mean, so that's uh, if I have to talk about a captain landing a sucker punch going into Australia, I think there's no bigger example than what Saurav Ganguly did in that first test in Brisbane in that series, right?
Yeah,
So India were
absolutely.
four down, some 100 runs odd, and then Ganguly just came in, and with all the backstory that was there, so that's obviously one example of what a captain can do in a tour in Australia, and it just lifted the spirits of the entire team, of the supporters, the fans, everyone. And just on the other end of the spectrum is probably the Virat Kohli example that we had in the last tour. So, similar scenario like this year, Virat Kohli had to come back after the first test, and then Ajinkya Rahane took over, and what a unbelievable turnaround it was of the team, of the fortunes, of everything, right? So it just uh, it just I just find it very weird that we have both the examples, and in both the cases we had a relatively a good turnaround, a good success story to go by. So my point of view on this is that uh, I do not know. I mean, it is what it is. So it's obviously Rohit Sharma's call, and there's no way that we can probably judge him. It's not right that way. But whatever it is, uh, we have to do the best we can do probably in the scenario, right? If Rohit is missing the first test, be it could as well be have been an injury, right? Or it could have been any other reason, right? So from that perspective, if Rohit is not there, I think whoever is the vice captain, Bumrah probably is the designated vice captain. Bumrah leads the troop. Kohli takes added responsibility. He would know what it is like to miss test matches in Australia. So we collectively rally as a team and just overcome the adversity. I think that's the best support that the team can probably give to Rohit Sharma if they consider him the leader that he is. And now we know that he's a player's captain, right? We have had multiple stories that okay, how he backs players. Just the other day, I was seeing a video of how he was speaking with Sanju Samson on the day of the final South Africa final. T20 World
Yes,
Cup
yes.
final. So it was
Sanju
like
is
probably
famous.
that Sanju, he had already told Sanju that he might play, and then eventually they decided that not to tinker with the winning combination, and he kept going to Sanju stating that tu mere se bura to nahi mana and things like that. So Sanju was just expressing. So I think that's how I see it on the entire Rohit Sharma saga.
Yes,
Okay,
but the thing is, I would just like to make a point here. But the
sure,
thing
yeah,
is
yeah,
that the situation of the team is such at the moment that the pressure and the
we need the
spotlight on
captain.
Rohit has increased. But the point which I would like to make here is when Kohli left, the squad had an Ajinkya Rahane, right? When Dhoni did not come, we had a good,
Kohli.
yeah, we had a good bright prospect in Virat Kohli. Even when Saurav Ganguly played and he played the entire series, but we knew that that squad had Rahul Dravid in it, it had Sachin Tendulkar in it, it had Kumble in it, everyone was there. The thing which is lacking at the moment is Jasprit Bumrah, but I think Bumrah has captained in one match, right? In one test match in England.
Yeah.
Okay, so was it a WTC final or was it the
No,
last
no, it was the
test
last
versus
fifth
England?
test, I think. The fifth test of the
The
England
fifth test
series,
versus England.
standalone test.
Yeah, so with Bumrah, I sometimes feel he might turn out to be a Pat Cummins like, oh yeah, captain. Okay,
You never know.
so when Pat Cummins came into the picture, yeah, so nobody thought he's going to be a captain, but he had some domestic captaincy credentials, I think, which Bumrah, as we know, has been trying to get in various fronts and formats, but he has not been
And
able to. But if you ask
that's
me,
a story for another day.
yeah, it is, it is. So, but if you ask me, I would just hope that things fall in such a way that Rohit is out there for the Perth test. And out of all places, it is the Perth test, right? Okay, so I just hope, but of course, means it is totally up to Rohit Sharma. It is his special moment at the end of the day, but we have a lot going on in Indian cricket at the moment, so we know how we behave, right, in such cases. And when Rahane won it after Kohli left, he won it 2-0, right? So in that
Yeah,
series, if we break it, it was
1
Virat
0
Kohli
and 0, 0 1.
0-1. Rahane won it 2-0, right? So we forgot everything about it. Okay, but
Absolutely.
at the moment we are on the verge of missing our first WTC final, and we have had a historic so whitewash at home. So I fear that anything untoward is going to create a huge backlash. And then we have gone out of all places to Australia, where we know that teams can get regularly yeah, so blanked. Okay, so it is at the moment where we have to keep every step very carefully, and I think that is what our squad is about to do. And I hope we get to speak a bit about the squad and how the 11 is going to look next, right?
Absolutely. So that's my next
Yeah.
point, I think. So the next point that I wanted to discuss was obviously the Indian 11. I think we have the squad that's already been selected. So for the Indian 11, uh, let's assume the fact that Rohit Sharma would be available for the first test, and let's have a discussion probably around that, if that's okay with you. So uh, let's start off with the 11. I think the first few places. Uh, Picks themselves: Rohit, Jaiswal, Gill, Kohli, Rishabh Pant. And I think the buck stops there.
I
The
think
top
the
five is
top
more or
five are
less
fixed. They are fixed.
is
Yeah.
settled. Now the question is about the number six spot, and I know you have been following the warm-up matches very closely, and you are obviously again, as I know, going gaga over through Jurel of the batting that he has done in that second test match. So take it away. I mean, what is your take on that sixth position that you want or you think
Yes.
should happen?
So the sixth position, let us talk about it by keeping in mind that the eighth position is open for an all-rounder as well. So for
Yes,
six, we can think about a specialist batsman or somebody
correct,
who does not bowl. Okay, so there the three options are Sarfaraz, who is the incumbent. He has not had a good series versus New Zealand, but he did score a big century in uh, uh, the loss in Bangalore. But after that, I think in the second and the third test, where the squad expected more from him, being our domestic stalwart, there were talks about him being the domestic Bradman and stuff. In those two tests, he did miss out. He got outfoxed almost, so he would be down in confidence. And I think, as you have made a point, that had the two India A test matches not been there, then KL Rahul would have been our first choice. Even though Dhruv Jurel has been in the squad starting from the England series, but we knew seeing okay KL Rahul score a century in South Africa in the first test we played there. So we knew that KL Rahul is probably going to be, but I have to be very honest. Means I would be thinking it's sort of an injustice after the performance Jurel showed in Australia. It was his first innings in Australia, albeit we know that it was against an A attack, okay, which was nowhere close to what Australia can do. But at the moment, I think we sometimes have to go the Australian way. And I think I go by the words of Ian Chappell here when he mentions that if you see somebody who is a bright prospect, has the spark, and is in the form of his life, you should not wait till his form uh,
to go
dips.
away.
And India has been famous for doing that. Okay, so KL Rahul has been one example. Okay, when KL Rahul was scoring runs and after runs, heaps after heaps of runs, we used to keep him out of the Test 11 for some time. Same now KL Rahul can do with Jurel, but I think I absolutely hope Jurel plays. If not, if KL Rahul also plays, I think we will be yeah, so we will be secure enough. He seems to be a bit down in his mind. But what surprises me is that we are not even thinking of Sarfaraz. Okay, so what I would like to ask you instead is, uh, do you think there is a chance that Sarfaraz plays at number six at Perth?
No, uh, point blank, no. I think, uh, although I know that Sarfaraz is the incumbent, he is the player who is holding the number six position at the moment based on the 11 that played in the last test. But what I think is that there's one thing that you do not score runs and you fail to score runs in a one-off test, two test, or whatever it is, right? But Sarfaraz looked a little bit out of sorts, if I may say so. And this is not taking anything away from Sarfaraz the batter, because he did what he did in the first test. He played a fantastic innings in the England series, so I remember all of that. But having said that, I still feel that there's a lot of room for improvement for Sarfaraz Khan against quality pace bowling, especially in decks like Australia. So, even before the second and third test happened, and you would know that in our close inner circles, I was vouching for the fact that no matter what Sarfaraz Khan does in the two test matches or this series, it should be KL Rahul who should be getting a go to start with the Australia Test series, right? However, I think the out of syllabus question that has come now is Dhruv Jurel, right? Although he was
Right.
always in the squad, he was named in the squad, but I think his performance in the A Test has catapulted him to a position of contention. It almost seems like that he has leapfrogged KL Rahul and Sarfaraz Khan to being the primary contender for the number 6 slot. And I would be very happy if Dhruv Jurel gets that. Uh, However, I see merit in the fact that if they go with KL Rahul, I would not be surprised. And I think uh, it was a little bit
It
of a
won't be a wrong
harakiri
call
that
as
was, yeah, it
well.
won't be a roll call. I think Rahul was dropped after the first test. He did very well in the England series in whatever limited opportunities that he got. I think he
Mhm.
scored a 70, 80 or a knock in that range. So it's
Mhm.
not like that he has been out of sorts, especially in red ball cricket, right? So from although I know if you look at KL Rahul's average, I was just looking at other day again some post that I came across 50 tests, not even 3,000 runs, below par average.
36
So
or 35 average. Hmm.
yeah, so having said all that, but I think we all know that KL Rahul has good technique, a solid technique. So for me, it's between Jurel and KL. I do not see Sarfaraz, and I seriously hope that uh, the management would also think on similar lines. I feel, and I would be very very happy if I am proved wrong. But if Sarfaraz Khan is on that 11 on the first test, I feel it would be a walking wicket. Mitchell Stark,
More ideal. Okay, yeah.
Josh Hazelwood, uh, Cummins, they would not have any mercy on uh,
That's true. That's true. And
Sarfaraz. So, but but yeah,
where I feel Jurel has stormed into contention is the second India A test had both Rahul and Jurel. Okay, so
yeah,
had it
true,
been
true,
Rahul was with the main squad and only Jurel had been playing, okay, so that
true,
even kind of indicates that the team management wanted to try out both and not send Sarfaraz. Okay,
true.
and then we know that as well as Jurel did, we also saw that how KL Rahul looked a bit actually messed in his head, and I think I did not like the way
He got bold.
he yeah, so he reacted to the way he got bowled. Okay, not only got bowled, okay, so that can happen to anyone in that split second, but then he kind of looked or he kind of gave off an expression like the why you always me, and I knew something like this could happen. Okay, so that kind of expression almost prompted me to say to you, I think privately that maybe he should spend some time outside
Domestic.
away from the spotlight. Okay, and instead of that, he's going to play in the toughest okay series a team has to tour for. Right, so I just hope that the Clay Rahul can have a blazing century, which he can also do. He can, yeah, I mean, he can score a 130 ball century as well at Perth. So just
Absolutely.
hope to see them. But I think we also are means very skeptical about Sarfaraz. I know that he might not make it to the 11, maybe in MCG or SCG if the team sees fit. But then I think means I'm not able to see that where can we see actually how he's going to do. He did not play the A test. Okay, so maybe the point I am raising is we see Sarfaraz and whoever does not play in the sixth position in the first practice match, which is the official
That's
first
between the
practice.
two tests.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Very true. I mean, could possibly be that's where they get the look in. Okay, moving on, Shilajit, probably in
Yeah.
the interest of time, number 6. So we discussed a fair bit. Number 7, fair call, Ravindra Jadeja. I think
Yes, yes. I
that's
think it has
pretty
to be.
easy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Number 8, I do not anticipate Ashwin featuring in Perth, probably the first one or two. So has to be a pace bowling all rounder. And looking at the squad, I think the probable options are probably Harshit Rana and Nitish Reddy are the two choices probably. Nitish
Yes,
Reddy is obviously there in the India A team, playing both the matches, played both the matches. Harshit has not travelled. So Rana versus Reddy is what you reckon for number 8?
I think so because I don't think India would dare to play a pure bowler in the order and have number 8. Akashdeep or Bumrah. Okay, we are anyway traveling overseas where our tail is known to collapse. So we would need some sort of cushion or some sort of hope at number 8, and not have somebody like Jasprit Bumrah or Akashdeep at 8, right? So that is where we are heading towards. So I think then it is a fair call between Nitish Reddy and between Harshit Rana. The thing about Harshit Rana is that he has inexplicably not traveled to Australia for the A series. Okay, it would have been a huge opportunity for him to stake claim by showing that he can bowl and he can hold his own with the bat as well. Okay, something which, even though the numbers don't suggest, I think Reddy has done. Okay, here Nitish Reddy means yeah, means as you had mentioned that I have diligently seen the matches wherever I could, and I have seen all the highlights videos at least. Okay, so there
Yeah.
Nitish Reddy, uh, yeah, means he did not look like a player who cannot play a ball which rises over his waist. He cannot play off the back foot. He has a strong back foot game. He plays well outside off stump, and he is a solid enough bowler. So I think going into Perth, yeah, to maybe put it more harshly, but for the lack of options, I think it is going to be. I think it is going to be Reddy, unless Harshit Rana shows some sort of magic during our practice. Yeah, means our practice games, and as we are here in India, are going to simulate some things, right? Okay, so hopefully shows there's something, but at the moment, I don't see anybody else other than Reddy. Ashwin can get a look in Adelaide, MCG, SCG, but okay, Perth and Gabba are pace friendly. We are certainly going to play okay a pacer at number 8. I I was hoping I was hoping against hope that we might uh, see Hardik Pandya. Okay, but since we have not, I think it's going to be between Reddy and Harshit Rana. And here Reddy is the first choice for me. Okay, what do you have to say?
Okay, before I probably jump into it, but then whoever it is from Nitish Reddy or Harshit Rana would effectively be making their debut, right? So
Their debut. Yeah.
yeah,
In Australia.
I know we had some glorious debuts last time around in the BGT, right? Or was it not? I mean,
Oh, yes, everything
Natarajan,
was historic. Right
yeah,
from
Natarajan,
Natarajan to Saini.
Navdeep Saini, yes. So from
Yeah,
Washington
to
also, I
Sundar
think.
also maybe. Yeah, 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 to
Yeah, yeah,
Sundar.
yeah. Even Washington also. So
uh,
so yes, I think I also tend to be favoring Nitish Reddy, considering that he has got the exposure of playing two A matches now under his belt. Is there in Australia, been there, done that kind of. So at least better than Harshit, right? Harshit can probably again, similar to Sarfaraz, can get a look in the practice match between the first two tests, and then we see what we can do from there, right? But uh, what I feel is that uh, irrespective, I think Harshit should have traveled. Is my take. Both
for
the
the
players
18.
should have been for the A tour. Both the players should have been just like KL and Dhruv Jurel did the second test match. I think we could have made Harshit Rana and Nitish Reddy, and Nitish played anyway. Harshit also be part of that tour. But I think considering that with all the things, and we would probably, as has been the case with the Indian team management of late, that we would want some batting backup and things like that. I think Nitish gets the nod, probably considering the exposure that he has right now. I think he has already made his international debuts, played some international matches. So probably tilts it a little bit towards Nitish Reddy. And again, I am okay. I think Harshit is a better bowler. I think that helps us that way.
I think
But
definitely is the better bowler. Yeah, no
yeah,
doubt.
but I think, yeah, probably another point that I would like to take into consideration is that what's the makeup of the remaining team, right? If Shiraj, and so Shiraj was dropped from the last test, right? It was Akashdeep and Bumrah who played the
No, I think
third
Siraj
test.
was dropped from the second test, and in the
Sorry,
last test
yeah,
he played Siraj and
Bumrah did
Akash.
not play, and yeah,
Ah,
Siraj and right.
ah.
Okay. So from that perspective, I think if Bumrah and Siraj are both playing, I think there would be a little more experience, and then probably I would be a little more comfortable with Nitish being the fourth player, fourth pacer. So Bumrah, Siraj, Akashdeep, and Nitish. However, if Siraj is not there, then I do not know. I mean, whether we would be better off. So a very 50-50 call. Uh, Put on the line, gun on head, I would probably pick Nitish.
Sure, Sayak, but I have one more point to raise, and it suddenly struck my mind when we were talking about the debutants of last series. Okay, and that point is, we are thinking of the other option being a pure bowler like Prasiddha Krishna, or we are thinking directly of Ashwin. Now, in between, we have another player in the mix, which is Washington Sundar. Okay, so is there a chance you think, because where we feel, so we I means I hope India does not go, but there's a chance that India would be on the skeptical side going into Perth. So do you think is there a chance we feel that yeah, we can play Washington Sundar in the 11? Yeah, means it might have been means it might have been Akshar as well had he been in the squad. And then we feel that if we need a fifth bowling option out of three pacers and one spinner of Jaddu, we will then let yeah, Sundar the roll his arm over, and we know that he bowled at the Gaba last year, right? And he got three wickets, I think, in the first innings. So do you think there's a chance, or do you think we
Could
should
be.
look at a number eight in Perth and the Gaba who is going to bowl fast or fast medium? Or do you think there's a chance, because it just suddenly came in mind, because I know that Prasiddha Krishna is not going to play. I know that even if Mukesh Kumar comes in, he's not going to play. We might not play a specialist batter like maybe Ishwaran or Sarfaraz. But do you think there is a shoe in for somebody like Sundar?
Could be, and considering his form, right, the exploits that he has had in the last series, I think he's the man in form, right? So doing all the things that he can probably do. So yes, I I think it becomes so in football when we discuss fantasy Premier League. I think there's a very common term which says
Mhm.
form versus fixture. So it's something similar. I think the pitch probably would call for a pace bowling all rounder, but the form probably dictates Washington Sundar. So maybe it could be a scenario between Sundar versus Sundar as well for the eighth position or the fifth bowling slot. So
Yes,
could as well be. I think it's a very interesting call and something that probably India would decide very late going into the test, probably match day morning or just the day before, seeing the wicket and things like that. So I think it would be a condition based call largely. If it's
maybe,
not
right?
very, yeah, if it's not
Yes.
very pace friendly, then
Yeah,
maybe.
so here I mean, I personally feel that okay, that Jadeja is walking a very tight line here. Okay, him and Ashwin are almost at the end, and even if Jadeja keeps playing for a few more years, his in India and out of India form and his abilities might start to wane out of India, especially. And he is a bowler who can keep things tight. And as a batter in the last 3 or 4 years, he has been fantastic. But over the next few years, we might as well see Akshar and Sundar playing the role of Jadeja and Ashwin. Okay, so
Ashwin. So they
here
are the,
going with form, yes, since you mentioned form, I think Jadeja did pick up a few wickets in the second or the third test matches in those turners. But
yeah.
Sundar was so, yeah. So knowing Gautam Gambhir as well, Thomas, I'm sure we are not going to take a chance on okay Jadeja not being there. But then if
That's
we
what.
see
Yeah, yeah.
really green pitches, okay, I would also like to see what Australia does, and I hope that they don't think that they need four pace bowlers. They don't have green, so even their 11 is a bit shaky. So all in all, yeah. So knowing that Gautam Gambhir can take a few surprising calls, and I really actually love him for that. It will be very interesting to see. And you remember in this 2011-12 period, we suddenly used to see okay, we seeing making his debut and some players. So yeah, something like that might happen with our number 6 and number 8 spots.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the rest of, so 9, 10, 11 should, I think Bumrah, Akashdeep, Siraj is the safe bet to start off with,
I think so.
probably for the remaining three slots. So I think to be very safely, we can call that nine spots are almost fixed. The
Yes.
two slots are the ones where the questions are, and I think the contenders are obviously KL, Sarfaraz, Dhruv for the batting one, and uh, Nitish, Harshit, and Washington probably outside chance. Maybe if the pitch is a little bit more neutral,
I think so.
maybe yeah, probably for the number eight. I think that's where the situation hangs right now. It's in balance. I
Yes,
think
and this
as
entire yes, and this entire thing actually goes for a toss if Rohit is not there at the top. Right? Then we have to send
definitely.
somebody up. Is it going to be Ishwaran or somebody from the Jurel Rahul set? If one of them goes there, like for example Rahul, then Jurel slots him. Right? So
But I
Rohit,
think I more like the idea of Shubman Gill being promoted up, right? I'm not sure. I mean, Ishwaran was anyway selected as a backup opener, and I think again, before the A Test series, probably we would have said if Rohit is not playing, Ishwaran gets in, right? So that's the simple swap,
yeah,
direct swap that happens. But I
yeah,
think
the ACC
Ishwaran
has
has
been
not
fluffed
done
by
his
Ishwaran. Mhm.
yeah, Ishwaran has not done his chances very uh, any better, probably by the performance that he has shown. Anyway, I think just
Yeah, but
moving away, I think we
so what? Yeah, so what my point here is, I would love to see Gill open, but my problem is that I would not like to
who is at
see
number three?
okay Kohli playing at number three, like he did in the New Zealand series. So then, is it Rahul? But then if it is Rahul, then yeah, then we might as well not move Shuman Gill from number three and make Rahul open. So I really hope against everything that okay, Rohit
Rohit
is
Sharma
playing the
plays.
first test, so that we have that stability, like you call the top five. Right? So
Yeah,
there it does
true.
not shake.
Absolutely. True. I think that's the best case scenario anyway. Having the captain, the batsman, everyone, and I think from that perspective, it would be crucial. It affects the balance that's there. So very true. And so quickly, I think we are over the 50-minute mark, Shilajit. So
Mhm.
two other topics that we just wanted to cover, and I see a comment from Rohit stating that great to see the passion for the game. Good luck and hope your channel grows a lot. Thank you, Rohit. We see the comment, and I hope you see the ticker that's going around, if that's news to you. So
Mhm.
so that's
So
something. But
Sonu is not
uh,
used to him. So he's, he's one
he
of other friends, who
he's
I
aware.
had
Oh,
a
great,
call with
fantastic.
yesterday anyway, but he knew
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
about my plans. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's there. That okay. So very quickly, Shilajit, I think the two
Mhm.
other points that we want to talk about is let's talk about Australia a bit. I know we are Indian fans talking about
I was
India.
hoping. I was hoping
Yeah.
I would
So
not.
let's touch upon Australia a little bit. That the, do you sense anything different from Australia this year? I mean, I'll tell you what I have observed. Okay. So
Mhm.
I, for one, feel that there is a little bit of skepticism in the air among Australian players and pundits in general. I'll tell you a reason. Okay, I still remember every time we used to tour Australia, either Glenn Magrath or the great late Shane Warne would say that Australia will win the
Finally,
series 4-0,
Australia.
4-0, 5-0, this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? This is the first time I have read that Ricky Ponting has predicted Australia winning the series 3-1. So they have given one test to India, and this is probably the first time ever that I have seen something like this. Okay, because usually that they are very gung ho about predicting the series results, and they always say that we'll thrash
Yeah,
them.
means
Uh,
means if England travels there, they are going to say final. It is only for
yeah, I
India they
mean,
are.
there's no shortage. There's no shortage of confidence, right? So that's something that's there. But
Yeah, so that is
this
very,
time,
very interesting, and it means it is more respectful towards India that they are
exactly,
already
exactly.
their prediction itself. They are giving one match to us.
One match already. So if they're
Mhm.
giving one match to India in the prediction, then deep inside they might also be thinking that it could be something more, right? For the press, it's one test, right? Then the other
Yeah,
other point is that I have never heard an Australian captain or players in general talk so much about winning one particular bilateral series, right? The way in different interviews Pat Cummins has gone and say that this is something that we want to win as a group, this is something that we have not achieved as a unit, so this is one feather that we were trying to put into our cap and things like that, right? So is, and they have been doing all the different preparations, players are sent to Sheffield Shield matches, all these things are happening. So anything different you see in
Yeah.
the run up for
Yeah. So
Australia?
yeah, so maybe let me just start by saying that it is only India they talk about in this century at least. Yeah, so during bilateral. So India was their final frontier, and India is the only team. Yeah, means you called out their two home series losses back to back. I think South Africa would have done it. Okay, so as we were talking earlier, so in 2008, 12, 16, that stretch. Okay, so South
So South
Africa would
Africa
have
have
been
gone to Australia and defeated Australia in two back-to-back
eight
test series.
eight they have done where they chased 400 something, and 12 and
Hmm.
16. Okay, so let us take that offline, but Australia have done it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what no team has done is win four back-to-back test series versus Australia. Okay, Australia could always go and beat the hell out of South Africa and South Africa. Okay,
True.
England is anyway always 50-50 at home, and in Australia they have no hope. Okay,
True.
uh, if we talk about England, England won in 2009 in England, came to Australia in 2010, they won. Then when England went back there in 2013 or something, I think England won again. But then when they came back to Australia, they were pummeled. But India is yeah, means if not the first team, it is one of the rarest teams who have won four back-to-back series versus Australia, albeit all of them were 2-1. Everything was 2-1. Okay, so Australia have fought in every series, but India have outfought them. Okay, so this is a series for their prestige as well, I would feel. Okay, they would not like a team coming a third time to their shores and winning a series. Okay, back to back hat trick in Australia. So they are charged up, but they largely have a similar squad. Okay, their opening spot is a new person coming in, and Cameron Green has gone out, so maybe okay, so Mitchell Marsh will play. And out of one of the three pacers, I think one of them would be rested every match, and maybe Scott Boland will yeah, get a shoe in. But you ask me maybe that what is Australia going to do different? They have the same bunch of players. Okay, they have a new head coach in Andrew McDonald, but he's also around, okay, around 2 years.
There have been around, yeah.
Yeah, so his experience, I think, with the squad. So I think what they will try to do is to do better than what they have been doing in the last two series. Okay, so yeah, for somebody like Steve Smith to have a okay a 2014 2015 like where he scored 400s in four matches. Okay, so Kohli
Hmm.
scored four, but he scored two at Adelaide. Okay, but Smith
Yeah.
ensured that he batted India out in every test match. He scored a century every test. Okay, or somebody like Labuschagne saying that I am going to score 500 runs in the series, or somebody like okay Cummins or Hazelwood saying that I am going to try to pick a fifer in every test match. Okay, so I don't see any new tactics coming from their side. Okay,
Hmm.
they have called up okay, Josh Inglis. I am not sure that he's going to suddenly open
Play.
in Perth. Okay, we have Max Sweeney. At number six, they have a hole as well with Cameron Green not being there. So it's going to be
Hmm.
Mitchell Marsh. I think so. Okay,
Probably, yeah.
so I don't think
Yeah.
Scott Boland is going to play there. We were
Hmm.
thinking, of, we were thinking of Michael Neeser. I think I have spoken to you, okay, privately as well, that over the last 2 years he has done well with the bat and the ball. But I don't see uh, Australia coming up with new tactics because over the last two series they have already tried everything with us. Short ball, outside of ball, everything they have tried, and we
Everything
have
they've
beaten
tried.
them. What we are going to miss is someone like Pujara who could bat out. Yes, so okay,
Specialists.
so Nathan Lyon, right? Because Nathan Lyon is a weapon in Australia, a spinner like no other. Okay, and there Pujara was one who could bat over and spell after spell of Lion. Okay, so that
Hmm.
is something which they are going to be very relieved about. but I don't see them coming up with something new. They are just going to try uh, to execute their skills better.
Uh, so yeah, and any chances of, I mean, like you said, I mean, they would probably not go with three pacers, one spinner, and bowling all rounder, right? So that's the combination that you are seeing
Yeah,
them
they
to
are
be
going to.
going
I
with.
don't think they are going
So
to change much there.
So
Yeah, Lion
probably if
plays.
we just have to do a quick run up, Khwaja and Max Sweeney or English, probably Max Sweeney at the top.
Mhm.
Number three would be Labuschagne, four would be Steve Smith, five would
Mhm.
be Travis Head, six would be Mitchell Marsh, seven would be Pat Cummins.
Alex Carey, Alex Carey.
Six would
Seven
be
would be Alex Carey.
seven would be Alex Carey, eight would be Cummins,
Hmm.
nine would be Stark, 10 would be Lyon, 11 will be uh, Hazelwood, right?
Hazelwood or
Or
maximum,
Boland.
okay, Scott Poland. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So
they tried Steven Smith opening after David Warner retired. Okay, and I would
did
really
not work
like
very
to
well.
applaud Steven Smith, someone like Steven Smith, who agreed to go to the opening spot at the end of his career again. So he's also having around 2 3 years more only. So he did
True.
that, but that experiment, it did not work that much. So I don't think Steven Smith is going to open, and we have heard all noises that Steven Smith is going to come down to 3 or 4. Is it?
Four, I
I'm not
think.
sure.
I
Oh,
read somewhere that Steve Smith has told that neither Khwaja or Labuschagne probably like the fact that Smith did this opening thing, and the reason being that he has funnily said that they both like to bat with the knowledge that
knowledge.
there's Steven Smith to follow.
That's true. That's true.
So that's there. Okay.
Yeah.
Last section, Shilajit. I think we've just crossed the hour mark. Last point that I want to talk, and although I do not want to end it on a sour note, but
Go
I
ahead.
think this is something that's right on the face, staring at us. And if uh, so, okay, let's put it more neutrally. What do you think are our chances of qualifying for the WTC final? And the
Yeah.
obvious question is that if not, then what happens thereafter? What's in store for the Indian Test cricket men's team after BGT, right? So very quickly, probably we can
Yeah. So there, I think I have been hearing that we would need a,
four nil.
that we would need to win 3 or 4 tests at least. Okay. And yeah, so 4 tests in Australia. Okay, three or
Is
four
difficult.
also. Yeah, I mean it is very difficult. But then we have always been talking about these are the numbers India would need to rack up to not depend on others. Okay, but if we have to depend on others because South Africa play Sri Lanka and Pakistan at home, Australia go to Sri Lanka after BGT, right? So I think it is a bit open still, but I think at the moment what we have to, uh, yeah, what we have to first think about is trying to win BGT, right? So if we do that, even if it is 3-2, even if it is 2-1, right, it is going to help us a lot. The second point being that that here number one and two are playing. Okay, so it is not like India is playing with the number eight team and we know that number two and number three can leapfrog. So if India can keep Australia at bay, albeit it is in Australia, but if India can keep Australia at bay, then Australia stays at number two, hopefully. And then if South Africa has to leapfrog or New Zealand have to leapfrog, okay, they would be then actually essentially taking out Australia from the final. Okay, so that is what I hope is that India somehow they keep they manage to keep Australia at bay and try to win the series by any margin. Even if it is a drawn series, India stays on above Australia. Right. So that is what I'm hoping for. Australia play after this, or New Zealand, I think, play after this. South Africa play, but India does not play after BGT.
India's, yeah, this is the last series. So I
Yeah.
think very quickly, I mean, although it's a very vast topic, but for South Africa, it's two home test series, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, both two match test series. Uh, it's difficult looking the way they are playing right now. But with Australia, sorry, with South Africa, there's always a chance of them dropping a
Yeah.
point here and there. So I
Mhm.
think I'm hopeful about South Africa. For so who else? I mean, for New Zealand, I do not know. New Zealand versus England, they need to beat everything. I mean, they need to win everything. I don't see that
And even then, hope
happening.
India lose BGT or something like that. Yeah.
Correct. I don't think that would be happening. So New Zealand gone. I think Sri Lanka obviously faces a huge challenge against Australia. So we have to hope probably that
Australia
Sri
and South
Lanka,
Africa.
Australia,
Hmm.
Australia and South Africa. So both
Mhm.
very difficult test series, I would think. But let's just hope that I think the best case scenario for India. I mean, if we have to look at others, I think the best we can hope and pray is that Sri Lanka punches above their weight a little bit to dent both South Africa and Australia. But having said that, from a BGT perspective, I am tempted to think 3-1 possible. I mean, exactly opposite what Ricky Ponting predicted. Can we do a 3-1?
It is
We
going
have won.
to
We have
it is
won
going
two
to
tests.
depend. Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah,
am very means I am very hopeful of India at MCG and SCG. Okay, because we have done yeah, so
because we
very
were
well
going.
there.
That's why.
Yeah, no, no, no. And there are not many of extreme conditions at MCG and SCG. Like at Gaba or at Perth, we might see something green, okay, and we might not get to see the actual pitch at all. In Adelaide, yeah, so which has again been a traditional powerhouse for India, it is the ping test, and we were leading the ping test last time, but then we fell spectacularly. So, but I hope that the score line would actually depend on how India comes out of the first three test matches. If it is 2-0 down or 3-0 down is going to be very tough. If it is 2-1, like I was hoping for, then we know that at MCG and SCG, okay, yeah, means even giving the fact aside that I am going to be there, but still MCG and SCG are where Indian skills will come to the fore. Okay, where Bumrah will get to bowl his long spells, and we know Kohli and Shuman Gill can then bat it out and stuff. Okay, so I think Perth, Gabba, Adelaide, yeah, the pink test 1, 2, 3. Okay, second match being Adelaide, right? So we have to ensure that we, we come out not dead out of those three test matches. And like I mentioned to you, I am very hopeful in fact of the pink test because that gives more opportunity for our pace attack to also show something. Okay,
But
strategy is
I
going
think
to depend. It is a series of 3+2, unfortunately.
true, but I think I mean right now our pace bowling quality is right neck to neck with Australia. I know the names are obviously heavier on the other side. If you say Stark, I mean Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, probably other than Bumrah, Siraj, and Akashdeep probably does not
The Shami is not there.
match
Yeah.
name wise,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
think we are a very very potent attack bowling wise right now. So my concerns are more with batting for the series than with bowling. So
Batting, okay. Okay.
from that thought process, but I think considering the WTC scenario, I do not know. 4-0 probably would be asking it too much. We have already won two tests in the last two series. The bare minimum improvement that we can do is we already won two, we can try to win three. And it is from that point and perspective, I am thinking that 3-1 is probably what India should aim for, what India should look for. Like you rightly said, Melbourne SCG India probably has more better chances, but even on the other three, probably if I am very doubtful that Australia would be risking making a very pace friendly or seam friendly, swing friendly wickets because they would be aware of the phenomenon that Jasprit Bumrah is, right? So they would be very, very worried about that is my understanding. However, just on the same point, I think one you used we started off with Shubman Gill. I think let's finish the discussion on a Virat Kohli note probably, and I think
Mhm.
it is imperative that Virat Kohli turns it around. Every time Virat Kohli, uh, I do not know. I mean, an Australia tour has always been very very happening and eventful for Virat Kohli, and from be it returning, be it getting the captaincy all of a sudden, all those things, right? Everything has happened, and he's enjoyed facing the likes of Mitchell Johnson, Stark, and all those battles that he has had, and he has been successful as well. So Adelaide, I think, once was called his second home, probably Adelaide, because he scored so many runs over there and such things, right? So, and again, another thing that I came across, and it's an unbelievable stat, that since COVID, uh, the Fab Four, so-called Fab Four, their averages, and I was just looking at their averages. So this is post the hiatus of COVID, right? So since then, I think Kane Williamson averages 66, Joe Root averages 55,
Mhm.
and it's all multiples of 11. So that's also a very
Okay.
weird coincidence.
Oh my
So
God. Okay.
Williamson is 66,
Ah,
Joe Root is 55, Steve Smith is 44, and Virat Kohli is 33, and it's unbelievable numbers for Kohli, right? And if he has to turn it around in red ball cricket, this is the series, right? This is where it all boils down to. He has to show the champion that he is. Uh, Take the battle to the opposition, take the bowlers head on probably, and I am looking at two statement knocks from, or not looking at, I would probably want, as a Kohli fan, two statement knocks in the first two test matches, right? Four innings I would be there. So it might not be 100 necessarily, but a statement knock that stamping his authority that he is here, and it's not, it would not be easy for Australia to go beyond him, to go past him. I think
yeah.
that's the intent, that's the thing that I am looking at from Virat Kohli, or I would be hoping that Virat Kohli does that.
Yes, and
What's
if
your
he
take?
does that, okay, so that is something, that is something which will be synonymous to standing up to Australia, and we definitely need to do that in the first two tests. Okay, keeping the series and WTC in mind. If India has to stand up, it has to be okay, one or two batters and okay, one or two bowlers. So if Virat Kohli is able to do that, he will play his part in ensuring that India has stood up. It can be his Adelaide test of 2014. It can be the Saurav Ganguly test in Brisbane. Okay, it can be the Rahane century at FCG, at MCG, right? Last time around. Okay, so we are going to need and absolutely would love a statement making innings from Kohli, because Kohli is a batter. Okay, batters like Kohli and the youngsters Gill and maybe Jaiswal, who's, yeah, I mean, who is touring to Australia for the first time. But these are the batters with whom I hope to see them, or I know that they can have a very successful five test series. Right, they will get to play 10 innings there. Right. Okay. So Kohli has done it in England in the past to have a very successful 10 inning series. So Kohli can do that. I am a bit skeptical about, say, Jurel or Rahul or Sarfaraz, even Rohit. Okay. Pant also can be one, but then he can be up and down as well. Who knows? I hope. Yeah. So the name which we are, which we might also think about is Pant, right? If Pant flashes his bat around at Perth and the Gabba, other three test matches can play into his hands. Right. So yeah, but absolutely agree with you that we are going to need a statement making, okay, performance, and okay, none better than Kohli to do it. Okay, he can do it. He has done it in the past, and
Absolutely.
hopefully he does it. Okay, yeah, so just two small points. Maybe it can be just one line each. Okay, I think I agree with you that Australia are not going to make, okay, so two bowler friendly of conditions, as we have Bumrah, but we also have the Indian version of Stuart Broad, and it is Mohammad Siraj, who is known to be bowling deadly spells. He is one bowler who can pick up five, six, 7 wickets in a spell. Right. So
Yeah,
this
picks
Stuart,
wickets in heap. Yeah.
yes, and he has done it against South Africa, at South Africa, and he has done it against Sri Lanka for a number of times which Sri Lankans doesn't, okay, they themselves won't want to remember. Okay, he has done okay, repeatedly against them. Okay, Siraj is someone who, if he is given the right condition, can suddenly, okay, turn the match towards India in one spell. Okay, and the second thing you asked about the Indian seniors future. Okay, going into the New Zealand series. okay, what I had felt and I had shared that with you as well is I see Kohli and Jadeja having the fitness, okay, to continue for 2 3 year more, and that would mean that they can play the next WTC cycle. Okay, but not Rohit and Ashwin. Okay, so these are our four seniors. Okay, Shami is anyway out. Okay, so he's 33 years old. He's out. Okay, so let us keep him out. At the moment we are hearing that if India does not win the BGT and don't go to the WTC final, then all four of the seniors can be seen phased out. But what I know can happen is Kohli and Jadeja, they are good enough in their fitness wise to play for 2 3 more years. But what I certainly don't see is Rohit and Ashwin playing the next WTC cycle.
True, but okay, fair point taken. But I think even from that perspective, also, it's one thing having fitness, Shilajit, but probably
Another thing having
uh,
form.
another thing having form. I mean, had it not been Virat Kohli, if we were any other batsman averaging 33 for the last 4 years in red ball cricket over a span of 25, 30 odd test matches, probably, I don't know, maybe we have played
And
even
his
more
last 4 years probably. Yeah,
in
so
his last four
this was
years.
the end
So
of his career anyway.
yeah, so I do not know. I mean, so yes, Rohit has not been in the best of red ball form. Ashwin and Jadeja did not click in the series, in the New Zealand series, but yeah, they would all have to. So I think it's important if the if the if this score has to carry on for another 1 or 2 seasons, it's very very important that they do well in this Border Gavaskar Trophy and we get a favorable result. And I think I am in alignment with the rumors going around that if we do not do something remarkable in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, then probably it would mean
All
curtains
four.
for a lot of these players or all four. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
still here I think Jadeja stands out in Indian conditions. Okay, Indian conditions having Jadeja at number 7 or 8, even Ashwin. Okay, because these two are not in such bad form like Kohli and Rohit. Okay, so Kohli and Rohit and Ashwin Jadeja in out India. Okay, there are a lot of factors. So Kohli, Rohit. Okay, so Rohit, I think form and fitness both are out. Okay, for Kohli it is in still there. Okay, but with Jadeja, Ashwin, we might still say yeah. So we might take a route like Sarfaraz. Okay, that these two stay for Indian Test series. Okay,
correct.
outside we have to start to groom Akshar and okay Sundar, but then they might feel that if we can play outside India, then why not in
Then
India
why
as
not? Yeah.
well? Yes, so
Yeah.
a lot of things to go on. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I think and that is probably one of the reasons that why this upcoming series is of such significance because
Oh my.
it is not only world test championship final, it would probably be an indicator of what Indian test cricket would look like into 2025, 26 and beyond, right? So it
Hmm.
would be an indicator or a look into that future, and I think that's why it is of prime significance is what I feel. So yeah,
Anyway, yeah. Please.
yeah, that's that. I think we can keep going on and on and on, but let's just probably stop. But before I let you go, Shilajit, I think on the same note that we started off, so I
Oh
am
my.
not letting you go without two things, right? Without knowing two things. One, what souvenir are you getting me from MCG? That's number one. And number two is you have to promise that once you are through with all this and once
Mhm.
you're back, we will be back in the same medium to discuss the out and out planning and execution of this entire tour that you would be doing. So let's just make sure that we will
Yes.
do that. Yeah. Because
Sure, sure, sure.
I'm
Very
sure
happy
that
to do that. Uh-huh.
yeah, because I'm sure because it would be a lot of people's questions, right? That how do you book tickets? How do you get a visa? All those things, right? Numerous questions that would be there that whoever wants to go to Melbourne probably to see a test match. So it would be fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I'll let you have the last words and then we can probably call it a close.
Sure, sure, sure. So from the souvenir, okay, point of view, even I am thinking what are the things which I'm going to see, because this is going to be the first time down there. Okay, so
No, the
what is
bare
going
minimum I would need probably is a signature of Virat Kohli, an autograph of Virat Kohli. That's the bare minimum I'm thinking.
if I'm able to do
You
that,
can
it is a
you
dream
can
come
get
true.
me a bat signed by all 11 players of the Indian team, but that's okay. I'll be happy with Kohli. No, but okay, Shiraji, this is something I think we haven't spoken offline as well. But I think I do not know because you would be it's an overseas setup and things like that. I think the hobnobbing part with players and this thing is it would be a lot more. I'm sure. I mean, you can be on the lookout that whether how that goes. Maybe a
Yes, yes,
lot
yes.
more
So compared to
exposure.
India, where the things are
Correct.
really secure
The
and
security and all
isolated.
it would be a lot lesser. I think is what I'm guessing. But yeah,
Hopefully,
for you
hopefully,
to
let us
experience.
see. I mean, I'm absolutely not sure how that pans out, but one thing is for sure that I will be right there at 8:30, 9 o'clock when the team bus and all comes. Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, let me try that. Okay, so, yeah, yeah, but let us see.
Absolutely.
But the souvenir is something which we can get around MCG as well, in MCG as well. So, okay, so I'll try to have an eye for that. But at the moment, I think, uh, okay. So having BGT in mind, but to be able to see Boxing Day at MCG, I am, yeah, means I am thinking as a fan and thinking as a traveler. Okay, so there are a lot of things going, but hopefully, I think as we are talking right in the next 12 days. Okay, so means after 12 days, yeah, so by this time, okay, Perth day one is over, and we know that the series has started. Okay, so we are really close, and let us hope that India starts on a very good yeah, manner, and we are able to express ourselves. And then starting, okay, December, we have to see how things pan out. So hopefully everything goes all right. And yes, and here's wishing all the best to Team India.
Absolutely. I mean, all the best, and let's just hope we smash the Aussies and go to Lords. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the ultimate. I mean, dream come true moment. Fine,
Absolutely.
Shilajit. Thank you so much for joining in. I mean, always a pleasure talking to you and discussing cricket. Like I said, we can keep going, but for the sake of time, let's call it a day, and then let's meet again on the other side. Thank you so much.
Yes, sure. Yeah, so Sai, thank you for having me here. Thank you.